Steve here in the Down to Earth Woodworking shop. I'm really glad you found and clicked on this part 2 video tour. I appreciate you watching. Well, let's jump right into it. We're here by the door that I use primarily for ingress and egress from my shop. Now this door swings in, so I couldn't put anything on the wall that stuck out too far, but I didn't want to waste the space either. I've got a little rack over here that my vacuum cleaner accessories and supplies are on. Keep those out of the way. And I have a bulletin board here with some pertinent shop information, like this chart that shows screw pilot hole sizes. Never can remember those. But I hinged this bulletin board, and behind it is my electrical panel. Down here I have a little rechargeable LED flashlight, but it also has a security light feature. It stays plugged in here and it's off, but if there's ever a power outage, that comes on, the light comes across this way and you can see to get out of the door. One thing you can't see, which is very important right here by the door also, is one of several fire extinguishers in my shop, all in strategic locations. Now this cabinet up here is all of my personal protective equipment and first aid supplies. I'll show you that in just a second, but on the end I've got some pegboard with some stuff that I use kind of in and around the shop. Not necessarily woodworking, but handy because it's right here by the door. You know, everybody needs a roll of duct tape. There's some brushes up here I use for cleaning. There's a knife for opening boxes, a couple of hammers, and my axes over here. Really important to have. Now inside this cabinet is not only all of my safety equipment, but also guest safety equipment. So I've got dust mask, hearing protection, and gloves for guests that come into the shop. There's first aid supplies in here, my own hearing protection, my air trend system for dust purification and a face mask, a plain face mask, latex gloves up here, some different kinds of gloves. I've got cotton gloves as well, when you don't want to get fingerprints on like a piece of glass or something. So that's all this, and then below here is some overflow, some more gloves, a new respirator that hasn't been opened yet, a couple of hats, and there's a few additional first aid supplies back there. Hope we never need any of that stuff. So now we'll just keep working around the shop in an anti-clockwise direction, and we'll tie together some of those important 5S components that we've been talking about as we go through the rest of the shop. Now normally my jointer is out in the shop because I use it quite a bit, but I've got it parked over here right now because I have my I-beam work support set up in the middle of the shop because I've been breaking down some plywood for a project. But it's really easy because everything is on wheels. So if I just move my jointer out of the way, then I've got two cabinets here. This is the cabinet with my planer, and this is the cabinet with my mortiser. The mortiser cabinet has lots of drawers because I have a lot of accessories for that. This rolls right out here from underneath the stairs, and it's on wheels, but the wheels lock, so once I put it where I'm going to use it, I just lock the wheels down and I'm good to go. Over here, you can sort of see there's a vacuum hose there going into the wall. Underneath the stairs in the corner, I have an air compressor and a shop vac tied into one of those vortex thingamajigs. And I've got wall switches over here, so I can turn on the vac from here, or I can turn on the air compressor. It helps to cut down the noise some and keeps it out of the way, and it made it so I didn't waste any space at all over here underneath the stairs. My regulator for the compressed air is right here, and of course this is the inlet for the shop vac. So let's keep going around. Now right here by the stairs I've got my Rikon bandsaw, and it pretty much stays here all the time. I've got plenty of room back in front to do most of the work, but if I need to move it, it's on wheels. I also have a tray underneath these stairs which is on wheels, and I can move the bandsaw and pull that tray out and access stuff that I don't need to get to very often. There's a lot of dust collection, accessories, fittings, and things like that under there, as well as another vacuum cleaner hose and some other stuff that all relates to shop cleanup. Behind me is a clamp rack with a variety of small clamps on it and bar clamps up here. And I don't know if you can see all of this, but this is my little cleaning center. I have a roller up here for those blue kind of shop towels. These are basic paper towels, and I have a spray bottle of water, and I have some cleaning stuff, and also I have a roll of shrink wrap up here because I use that quite a bit. Also keep my waxed paper up here. I use a lot of waxed paper, so it's up here in this rack as well. These are the switches to the lights upstairs. Alright, now over here at the base of the stairs, this is the main dust manifold. You've seen this coming down on my dust collection system with the floor sweep at the bottom. I have a place over here where I park my little portable table saw, get it out of the way when I'm working out in the middle of the shop. These cabinets up here, I have in this cabinet some handheld power tools, jigsaw and circular saw and stuff in this cabinet that I do use occasionally. And then in this cabinet is everything related to table saw safety. So I've got push sticks, push blocks, my gripper system, some spare blades up here. And this is an important part of 5S. To make sure that I'm not running around the shop wasting time, this is the screwdriver I need to change out my zero clearance plates on my table saw. So instead of running around putting this screwdriver somewhere else, I leave it right here, ready to go anytime I need to change out a throat plate. In this cabinet over here is all gluing supplies. I've got my basic glues, I've got my epoxies here, I've got mixing cups in here, applicating brushes and scrapers to scrape off the glue, any squeeze out. So all the gluing is right there in one area. Now we'll move down here to my shop desk and I'll show you that area. Okay, this is my combination shop desk, workbench, kind of a clutter catcher. But I do a lot of glue ups on top of this. So this is on wheels. The whole thing can be moved out into the shop. Has tons of drawers and drawer space in it. I've got every one of them filled pretty much to capacity. The top is made like a torsion box, and so this is dead flat. It's covered with a Formica type material on the top. There's a series of videos on making this particular piece. Got a stool over here because I sit here and do drawings from time to time. As a result, I have some drawing things, some rules, pencil sharpener, pencils, some drafting equipment over here. This is a little charging station I made a while back. It holds all my battery chargers, and it's on a master switch, so I can turn that off to make sure there's no electricity bleeding out of that. Up here I have my rechargeable drills. Everything except for the Festool drill is up here. It's in its own little sustainer. This upper cabinet over here contains test instruments and measurements. My calipers are in here. My Craig setup guides are in here. I've got some nut and bolt sizing guides in here. My little Wixie angle guide is in here. Even my little thing that reads amperage at an outlet is in here. But basically all my testing stuff is in here. I have a tenoning jig up here. I have a kind of a homemade tenoning jig up here. I actually use this one more than the store-bought one. This cabinet over here, not really specific to woodworking, but specific to what I do, has a lot of video equipment and accessories in there for filming these videos. Got a trash can down here at the end, so this is kind of a little work area for me. And I've got a nice little window here where I can look out and see the world. So let me keep going around the corner. Well, by now you've probably noticed that pretty much all the cabinets in my shop I built myself, and I built them according to 5S principles. One of the things I wanted to do was keep everything close at hand for the operation of the machine that was either on top of or built into a cabinet. Good example of that's my router table. Not only is it a router table, but in the drawers in the bottom I've got handheld routers. I've got accessories for the handheld routers like edge guides and things. And then for the router table itself, I have all the tools and adjustment things for adjusting the fence. And I've got router bits in this drawer and router bits in this drawer. So everything router related is in this cabinet and ready to go. When I'm ready to use it, it's on wheels, so I just spin it 90 degrees. I've got room front and back. And then when I'm done, I spin it back over here and park it here at this wall. So let's move on down now and we'll see the miter saw setup. Well, pretty much like everything else, I took 5S into account when I designed this miter saw station. This is in a video if you want to look at how it was done. Basically, I've got my miter saw. It can slide back and forth into a couple of positions. And I have my guides here on tracks so that they can move back and forth, or they can be removed so I can use this top for something else. Got storage drawers for things pertaining to the miter saw up and down through this. And then I have my cutoff collection here. For the most part, these are divided up by wood types. There might be a mistake or two in there. Then I have a little box down here that I throw in the pieces that are too small to save, or what some folks call a burn box. I've got a couple of Festool Systainers over here that were just extra and didn't have any place to put them. And then I've got these slide out shelves here. Each holds 2 Systainers. So there's 2 of the small ones, 2 of the medium sized ones, and 2 of the large ones down here. Now, I've got my Festool dust extractor hooked up to the miter saw right now because I've built a few dust hoods for this thing and none of them worked as well as I wanted them to. So I'm going to try again, and if I ever get a design that really works, I'll share that with you. But I have a drop now from my dust collection system, should provide adequate suction, so I'm going to try it one more time. Now let's move down here and take a look at the corner of the shop. Well, if there was a street sign in my shop, this would be called Sandy Corners. This is all my sanding stuff. My drum sander is here, and my mobile sanding center, which was covered in another series of videos. This center has an oscillating spindle sander, a belt and disc sander combo, and drawers and drawers and drawers full of everything related to sanding. Everything from pad sanders to sandpaper to sanding supplies. These cabinets are both on wheels. They can be rolled out into the shop when I need to use them, and when I'm done, I can roll them back here and park them out of the way. Now I have double doors here that open out. There's 5 foot of width there, so when I need to bring in plywood or large pieces of lumber or even hopefully a new piece of equipment, I can open those doors and bring it in through here just by shoving this stuff to the side. I've got a wall full of pipe clamps up here and another fire extinguisher over here by this door. So now let's swing around and let's look at what I call the middle or the center of my workshop. Okay, so here's sort of, it's not the geographic center, but to me it's the center of the workshop. It's my workbench, and I'm sorry about this pole, by the way. This is a support pole that supports a beam that runs across, which really kind of holds up the upstairs. So it's important, I can't get rid of it. And I'm not dancing, okay? So anyway, this is my workbench. Typical Rubo style, Rabo, however you say that type workbench. And I do everything here. I do my woodworking here, obviously, and I also do my writing here and many other things, answer emails and things like that right here, right in my shop. Everything typical for 5S is right at hand. Now, when I said earlier that 5S, particularly the set-in order, is kind of intuitive and second nature, it is. You wouldn't take bench dogs or bench hold downs and put these on the other side of your shop. You keep them close at hand because you use them all the time. Same goes for my planes and my chisels. My chisels are in a rack here just underneath my plane cabinet, and all my hand planes are up here. And I have extra blades for all of my planes so that I can sharpen ahead of time. So if I'm in the middle of a project, blade gets dull, I can just change out to another blade and not have to worry about going upstairs to sharpen. So I've got a couple of drawers here that hold the extra plane blades. Like I said, my chisels and stuff are underneath. And this little section of pegboard here is sort of my favorite measuring, marking stuff. Plus I have a knife down here and a pair of scissors, which seem to get used an awful lot. And I have some awls here for starting screw holes, but everything else has to do with marking and measuring. And then of course, of significant importance is this corner cabinet over here. And in this cabinet is my music system. You can't really see it, but up above there's a TV. Don't turn that on too much. I've got my weather station down here. I'm kind of a weather geek, so I've got that in there. And just odds and ends, other stuff, more comfort items. This drawer here is all the remotes for everything, from the dust collector to the TV. And then down in the bottom of this cabinet is some of my sort of finer hand tools. Carcass saws, dovetail saws, things like that are down here in the bottom of this cabinet just to keep them nice and clean, keep dust off of them. And then I've got one more little area and we'll be back to the door. And then we're going to talk about 5S just a little bit more. Okay, over here by the door, past my workbench, off to the side a little bit, is my drill press. You can't really see it back behind here, but there's a little portable air compressor that runs on battery power. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody makes this anymore, and if this ever dies, I'm going to be really upset. This is so handy to it's mounted on the wall. I can just pick it up out of its mounting bracket, carry it to wherever I need to go, use whatever nail gun I need to use, or pump up a tire or whatever, and bring it back and hang it right here on the wall, and I don't have to stretch out hoses and all that stuff. This is a great little gadget. I've got a lot of large Forstner bits over here on the wall because I've been using those in a lot of projects lately. But most of my drilling accessories and drill bits are in these drawers down here on this little cabinet that I built to go underneath the drill press. So that's pretty much it for the shop tour. So let's talk a little bit about the third component of 5S. Well, we've talked a little bit about the first two S's of 5S, which is sort and set in order. The third S of 5S is shine, or some people say sweep. Basically, it's a metaphor for cleanliness. Keep your shop and your workspace clean and you'll have a safer, more enjoyable place to work. And it's really not that hard once you get in the habit of it. If you just spend a few minutes at the end of every day cleaning your shop, you'll come in the next day and be ready to go, ready to get to work. The fourth component of 5S is to standardize. Standardize in a factory setting where 5S originated might mean to standardize on a repetitive task to make sure it's done exactly the same way every time to speed up production and to enhance quality. For the woodworker, standardize means more standardized where and how you place your tools and your equipment, and get in the habit of where everything is. Imagine for a minute that you could be at the workbench, close your eyes, reach behind you or to the side of you and grab the chisel that you need without thinking about it or looking. If you standardize on where you place all your tools, you will quickly get to that point to be able to do that, and it allows you to concentrate on your work more. Some people will take and put little like chalk outlines on their pegboard for exactly where they want to put their tools, and they put them back in exactly the same place every time. Well, whatever works for you, but I'll tell you that once you start to standardize where you put stuff, you'll get in the habit really quick. The fifth component of 5S is probably the hardest, and that's to sustain. Once you try something new like 5S, it takes a little while to get in the habit. And there's always a temptation to kind of backslide a little bit. I know it is for me. I'll go upstairs and get a seldom used tool and bring it down to use it for something, and then I say, well, I can go take it and put it back later. It doesn't work that way. What happens is you get what I call junk creep. All the stuff that you use rarely comes back into your shop gradually, and the next thing you know, you got a big mess. So if you sustain the system of sorting, constantly being on the lookout for the stuff that you don't use or use rarely, sustain your system of setting in order, sustain in particular keeping your shop clean, then you will have a system that will become an absolute second nature habit. It will become rote. And when it does, you'll find that you have much more time and space in your workshop. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the shop tour of the Down to Earth Woodworking shop, and I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned a little bit from the 5S overview. If you want to learn a little bit more about 5S, you can go to Highland Woodworking's website, and on the banner across the top, click on the word library. And it will take you to a section where Highland provides all kinds of free download information. Scroll to the bottom of that and there's a section called Down to Earth Woodworks. Look in that section and you'll find an article about 5S that you can download for free, and it'll dive a little deeper into this whole subject. Well, again, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.